Welcome to the MLS Show. Me and Chris in Chris's swanky new studio. Lovely this, mate.
Just threw it together, mate.
Just threw it 10 minutes. It took him 7 to do that and 20 to find 2 lights. But there you go. All good, all good. Christy, week 34.
Decision day.
Final hashtag decision day.
Love it.
Although it was better last year when there was more going on. It was most of the stuff. No, well, most of the stuff was decided in terms of playoffs, who was getting in, who wasn't getting in. Obviously there was a couple of situations where teams could finish higher up. The higher up you finish, obviously home advantage and everything else. But we'll come on to the playoff bit in a minute. Let's go through the week scores.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
The week scores. Colorado won, Houston Dynamo won.
Yeah.
Colorado have had a fantastic season, been brilliant all season. Up there chasing Dallas, who've also been fantastic. But went behind in this one. I'd love to. I know Ped, if he was here, would blame Tim Howard for this goal, for the parry, for the Alrich parry.
I blame the defender.
The defender. Yeah.
What's he doing? Letting him turn in the box there
and just have a free shot.
Yeah, cross shot or whatever it was. Like, yeah, I understand Howard's not done great on there and stuff, but you cannot be letting that man turn because he takes 2 steps back, don't need to create the space for himself. And you're like, just get into him. It's terrible defending for me, mate.
Really. But what about Kevin Doyle playing in the number 10 role for Colorado? He's a target man to me, and he's dropping off.
He's not a number 10, is he?
He was unlucky. He had a few good headers, and essentially was involved in the equaliser. Gashi lashing home from close.
It was a late run, wasn't it, into the box, like Lampard-esque almost, the way that he got in there. But there's 3 players there. One of them slips. Is it Williams slips?
Might be Williams who slips.
Williams slips, and you're thinking, come on, 3 of you. You know the ball's getting played back across. So you've got to be expecting that. They've all got the body shape wrong for me. They don't seem to be expecting that. They're looking for a ball in and around the 6-yard box. I understand maybe one of them should be covering that option off. Yeah. And that's maybe the way, like, defensive coaching in England and in the Premier League and other big leagues in Europe just goes a little bit more intricate than what I think maybe the MLS does, because I think you've each got a role to play there, and someone's job should be looking for the runner from the midfield. So for me, again, I feel like I'm always bashing the defence in MLS, but it needs improving. And it's a dead exciting league to watch because of the goals that are scored and stuff, but ultimately if you want to take it somewhere, you've got to be good at both ends of the field.
Definitely. I mean, I'm reading Tim Cahill's book at the moment, Legacy, and he talks about his time in New York Red Bulls, and that he said I watched the first few games and it was 6-3, and he said he went in and just, he'd been under David Moyes for a while, like, but he said I just started playing defensive midfield when Cahill was an attacking midfielder. He said just to try and get us some shape and to stop conceding goals. And that's a structure that the Red Bulls have took on from his time, and that's why where they are now. They're such a good side, and I think a few more teams need to adopt that, that defensive strategy, if you like. Moving on, Sporting Kansas City 2, San Jose Earthquakes 0 rather. Sporting Kansas City started off well, had a bit of a wobble, sorted it out, back in the heat there in Kansas. Ped will be delighted. He's somewhere else at the moment. He'll be delighted that they've got through this one. Dodgy, well, no, it wasn't a dodgy penalty, but
soft penalty to concede, maybe. I think it's a penalty because I think it is handball at the end of the day. But yeah,
Zusi lashes it in anyway.
It's a soft one to concede, isn't it? Again, the ball's coming down. It's taking a little bit of a deflection after the cross and all that. Like, but
why did he lean in? Because that's going across. That's going across the box.
It's like he wanted to block it off, but he leaned with the wrong part of his body for me. And again, it's just penalty's decent though.
Because San Jose been, dare I say, been a better side. Wondolowski missed a couple of good chances at 0-0, but Feilhaber slots in beautifully, and then it's a bit of a to and fro, and then he sets up Zusi for what I thought was a lovely goal, the second goal.
There was some great finishes this week in MLS, wasn't there? I mean, there was loads of really nice goals, but that was up there for me. I loved it. Nice little ball from Feilhaber, and then Zusi just slots it in, like, absolutely smashes it.
Top bin. LA Galaxy 0, FC Dallas 0. This, of course, was key for
Dallas more than anything, wasn't it? Obviously they win the Supporters' Shield off the back of it. Look, LA Galaxy rested a few of the big players, didn't they? There was no Cole, there's no Dos Santos, no Gerrard, no Keane.
They've got their eye on this week, haven't they?
They've got the elimination games and stuff coming up. So it was a big one for Dallas, but I was quite impressed with the way that Galaxy defended, even though they'd lost a few of their star players, and I think they were pretty solid. And Dallas, you know, they had a couple of opportunities and stuff, but for the whole, I think Galaxy will be happy with that result, and I think Dallas are obviously made up, like, and they deserve to win that Shield because they've been brilliant all season, and they've almost run away with it, haven't they?
Oh, they've been tremendous. I mean, they lost Diaz last week, Achilles injury. He's done for quite a while. He's been fantastic for them, Mauro Diaz. They lost Fabian Castillo in the summer to Turkey, who was another massive player for them, and they've still just carried on. That's the second trophy they've won. They won US Open Cup.
They're on for the treble, aren't they?
They're on for the treble.
No one's ever done it before, have they? No. I was reading about it the other week.
It'd be difficult whether...
Has anyone done the double yet? The double that they've done? Because I thought I read somewhere that they hadn't.
I don't know. Be honest with you, I could sit here and go, but I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. I've been reading a lot about the treble, more so than the double. So you need to let us know in the comment section below.
I think, watching that game, I thought Donovan played really well. It's the first time he's played 90, isn't it?
As well.
Yeah.
Landy back with a bucket. It is. I suppose the interesting thing is, obviously, there was a lot of Galaxy had sent out these cards with a message on the Steven Gerrard had done one saying thank you and all that, and a lot of people are, is that it now? Is he done? Is
well,
he
he's in talks with us apparently, isn't he?
Well, although Klopp's played that down a bit, hasn't he? But
not really. He said that there's 100% a place. He's in talks with us now, apparently, about taking a coaching role. You know, we were all talking in Redmen before about whether we'd offer him a playing role or not. I know at 36, but he could come back in January, and you know, if injuries hit you hard, you've got an experienced player there. Whether it's the right move for us or not, I'm not too sure. But having Steven Gerrard in and around that squad, he obviously came back a few weeks ago and did a little bit of work at Liverpool. He's doing his coaching badges, he's doing his UEFA Pro licenses and stuff like. So I think he'll end up at Liverpool, whether it's a coaching role or a player coaching role. I'm not too sure. I'd imagine it'd be a full coaching role. But
I mean, I think from Steven Gerrard's point of view, I think if you were at Liverpool, I'd put him with the kids who were on the fringe of becoming full time, because I think if you're getting coached by Gerrard, that awe of being and working and around him, I think as he goes higher, I think you want him to get them badges behind him, get the experience before he's talking as a coach. But right, as a younger player, going like word, you know, especially if you're a Liverpool fan, having Gerrard coach would be outstanding for for them.
McGee could have won it a couple of times in the end, couldn't he, for LA Galaxy and stuff, and you know, I had fortunately enough interviewed him, didn't I, Mike, when we were over there, and I wish he'd have taken that opportunity and put a little bit more pressure on Robbie Keane, because he seems like a nice guy to me. Yeah,
well, he might have a bigger role. Keane's not getting any younger, is he? Although he'll still be there next
year. Do you reckon he will be? Because they're looking at getting a couple of extra DPs in.
They are. Whether I just don't. I mean, I think if Keane was available, I think every other MLS club would take him, to be honest with you, because he scores a lot. He's still scoring a lot of goals. I think Galaxy don't see how they could lose him at the moment, because they haven't got a natural successor, unless of course they went after, say, Giovinco or someone like that. You know, Ibrahimovic maybe, if it doesn't work out at United, something like that. I knew he'd like that one, you see, that's right. But no, it'll be interesting to see what they do in the off season. New England Revolution 3, Montreal Impact 0. The Revs were fantastic in this.
They were good, weren't they?
They've just come up short, finished the same points as Philadelphia, but obviously have missed out on the playoffs. This game, I suppose it'll be remembered for
one thing.
Bizarre booking.
What's
twerk? What's twerking, or what was?
Kind of. I know what twerking is.
Don't think we want to see Kai Kamara twerk as much as I love Kai Kamara.
It's a joke, that one, isn't it? I just don't understand. Didn't he bring in some like celebration rules recently?
I know, but he's just having a bit of fun.
Yeah, but
day 34.
It's rude, mate.
He was just giving it the big one.
Do you want to show him what he was doing? Show him what he was
doing. You can do it if you want.
I've got the arse for it, mate.
Let's leave it there. The Revs, this has been a problem for New England Revolution, is that they've picked the game. They've done this last season, only they still had enough to get in, finish higher up. This year, they dropped off at an important time in the season, and they've made a run again and started winning games again, but it's just too late. That's something that He's just got to sort out the middle of next season. It's when it's crucial. Going through them summer months, just make sure you're getting results. Just like
getting points on the board. Nice little free kick to start it off, wasn't it?
It was.
Lovely.
There was a few. I thought Lee Wynn, who anyone who watches this knows that I love. I thought he was going to have it, but for Gundes stuck it in the far corner, didn't he? It was a peach. In fact, all three goals were good.
Yeah, they were beautiful. That Lee Wynn had How'd you say it?
Win.
It's just that simple. Because there's a poker player, Nugent, they say for the poker player.
Really?
Same, exactly spelt exactly the same way, so I was unsure. Like, but yeah, he had a good game. He's a top little player, isn't he? You know, brings the ball across. Can't remember whether it was the second or third. He passes in, just shifted over again.
Kamara,
and what a finish, Kai Kamara on his right foot outside the boot, spoils it with that shit.
They've hit the post, I think. Someone put it
3 times.
3 times in that game. I think someone said it was the 33rd time they've hit the post this season. I'd seen something. I was watching a multi-game last night, MLS, and they added about 20, I think, MLS, but maybe in cups and stuff it's about 33 times.
Well, Kai Kamara did it, didn't he? Rocketed it off the crossbar, and you're like, how's he missed that?
He should have scored, shouldn't he?
How's he missed it?
He was almost like, I'm not that lad. He just lashed it instead of putting it in, and it's hit the bar, come down and come out. Unbelievable. But I've made up he got a goal because it started with that penalty incident when he was still at Columbus Crew, and he just hasn't hit the heights, but I think he'll be back next season. Moving on to your side.
Yes. We were boss again, mate, weren't we?
The boys.
Absolutely brilliant. David Villa is just a class above for me. Like, he is just still a top draw player.
What's your thoughts on that kit?
Yeah, I didn't really like it, to be perfectly honest with you, but
what can you do?
No, what can you do? I play well in it, you're bothered.
Well, that was it. It was. I thought they were excellent. They've been excellent all season, haven't they? Let's be perfectly honest. David Villa, just fantastic.
I love watching him play football, mate. I mean, that skill for the first goal down the left-hand side, like low cross Mendoza, and to be fair, I think the keeper definitely should have saved that. Like, but you know, the skill from Villa, and he's done it a couple of times during that game, and he great skill, gets involved, like gets his. Closes play off with a goal in the final kick of the game or something, wasn't it?
The last kick was literally the last kick of the game.
And what a finish that is. That's what David Villa is about, isn't it?
What about the little
flick ball before it?
No, when he hits the post, the just stands there and goes like he's in training. Just whips it with a bit of a laugh.
He's just I just love watching. Great to see Frank Lampard back as well.
Involved in 2 goals.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it'd be so easy for him when he gets the assist. Villa plays him the ball, doesn't he? And some players would lash the foot at that.
He just lashed it, yeah.
And he doesn't. He understands the game situation, and he just passes it off, and it's an easy goal for us in the end. Like,
yeah, what a player. And Jack Harrison, good to see him.
Yeah, Shelton as well.
And Shelton was a lovely 2 goals in 2 minutes.
It was a great ball to Shelton, wasn't it? Over the top, like runs onto it, and then it's just a great finish, a great composed finish, isn't it?
See there, New York City. I think they've got a fantastic chance. Now Lampard's back as well. Villa's in top form. You know, I wouldn't put it past Vieira.
When we come to the end of it, I want your predictions. Actually, who you think's going to win each one of those games first and foremost?
Okay.
That'll be interesting and good to have on camera as well.
Oh, nice one, yeah. Thanks, just to trim me up a bit more. From you to me, my Orlando City side closed off their careers at the Camping World Stadium, which is obviously the Florida Citrus Bowl. The last game they played there before they move into the new stadium ahead of next season. Smallest, yeah, Ped's not here, so let's just leave it there. Smallest stadium, but grass, which is a million times better, nice and compact, like an English design. I think it'll be fantastic. The atmosphere will be unreal if it is on the small side. But they were fantastic against DC. Listen, DC United have got their eyes on the midweek. There's no question about that. You know, Ben Olsen had made changes. He knows what he needed to do. They've had a tough week anyway. He's got his eyes on that. But I thought Orlando City, you know, they were at it right from the word go. You know, playing I think it was 4 o'clock in Florida, which is tough.
Kaka looked up for it,
Kaka was different class. Molino, fantastic. Perez, Garcia, they played really well. And
that first goal for me, it was great through ball by Kaka, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it Ramos then picked it up?
Yeah.
Easy one across the box to Molino, was it? Yeah. Great goal. That's a team goal, innit? I love watching goals like that. Like, as much as I like seeing everyone lash him in from 30 yards and hitting the top bin, there's nothing more satisfying than watching the whole team click.
Just get in, yeah. And when they're on it, Orlando, they are a good side. The problem is, you see, Kaka scores a brilliant goal. They could be 4 or 5 up, gets to half time, and Seb Hines does that, you know, back pass with no pace on, and next minute it's 2-1. It was just leather it away, doesn't matter. The referee's looking at,
the keeper's not even watching him.
Absolutely ridiculous, and it's a goal, and a minute later DC scored again, but it's offside, and you're going, we should be 5, the game should be dead, and it could be 2-2. Just a flag goes up, you know, and prevent it.
What did you think of Kaka's goal?
Just roll back the gears. He just drew the lad in, knocks it past him, and then
He's for pace though, doesn't he?
Oh, without it. Over them 5 yards, he hasn't lost any pace whatsoever. It's when he's having to run 30 yards with the ball.
I suppose that's the part of his game that he's added, hasn't he? He's got the strength now to once he's past someone, it's very difficult to then get back past him. It's a great little finish. It's outside the boot, isn't it?
Just draws the keeper, doesn't he, and just thinks it over. Brilliant. Higuita scored a lovely goal, and then Baptista weighs in with a little bit of a deflection as well.
It was a big
the beast.
deflection.
Well, yeah, I'll say a little one, you say a big one. That's probably the story of your life. Philadelphia 0, New York Red Bulls 2. Red Bulls just continuing to just perform.
Bradley Wright Phillips, man. Golden Boot, 24
Golden
goals.
Boot, that was a goal, wasn't it?
What a goal to win it with as well. I mean, it was a great, I don't know who
Aurelian Colin left Orlando when he said he didn't need defenders. Awkward.
What a ball by him.
Fantastic.
But it's a high line, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that that's exactly the type of thing that Bradley Wright Phillips wants to be running off. The pace that he's got, he wants to be running onto that, and then the wherewithal to just dink the keeper. It's beautiful, mate. And I don't care, it's not going in off that. He's fast enough to get there. He's done that on purpose for me, and it's a great goal. Just
took the goalie out of it. It was just reminiscent of his dad, really, wasn't it? Yeah. That kind of finish, and like you say, that was the goal that won him the Golden Boot in the regular season, 24 goals, and he started the season horrendously. Couldn't hit. The people were saying, drop him and jeering him, and he was missing chance after chance, and I remember saying on this, once he gets one, he'll be up and running, and he's just been 24 goals, absolutely unreal. Alex Mule scored late on, he missed a few good chances as well. Sasha Kleshin, 19 assists this season. Incredible. He's got 6 goals himself, but he's got 19 assists.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
That's amazing.
How old is he?
Late 20s, I think. Or he might even be 30 now, but he's still a top. Just sees passes. He's not the most dynamic of players, but elegant. He's always elegant on the ball. Sees a pass. Fantastic. But well done, New York Red Bulls. They were outstanding. Seattle Sounders 2, Real Salt Lake 1. Seattle. What's gone on here?
Graphic's gone off, mate.
We've lost our graphic.
It's a disaster.
It's not.
An absolute disaster.
It's just, Can we get the graphic back?
Yeah, we can definitely get the graphic back.
And it's back, Chris. Well done.
Amazing,
magic.
How did you do that?
To you, wasn't me. It was all down to you. Seattle 2, Real Salt Lake 1. Seattle Sounders fired Siggy Schmidt weeks ago when they seemed to be going nowhere. They were having a smell to come in. Boom. Ladero come in, who's been the biggest player. Ladero's been incredibly Argentinian, and they just gone bang, 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 and they found themselves, I think they finished 4th in the Western. They just got themselves right up into that.
It was the right decision to make.
Well, it was a probably tough decision because Siggy Schmidt's been around and been a good manager, but me and Ped were doing the show in the summer when he was struggling, and they just seemed to be the same thing every week. And you've watched football long enough, when a manager's busted this flush, really, you're looking and thinking,
right.
Nothing's changing here. Everything seems to be the same.
Sometimes you just need a fresh injection of ideas, don't you?
I mean, they got rid of them, put Smelter in charge, and they got Ladero at the same time, and them two have kick-started them. Obviously, Clint Dempsey has been, he's had some problems with a regular heartbeat, so he's been out and looks till next season. But Jordan Morris, we spoke about him before, he's really stepped up. And they've just got that momentum going, and sometimes, listen, we've seen it with Portland last year. Just got the momentum at the right time and went on and won it, and the way Morris is playing and Ladero, you wouldn't put it past Seattle to go
I'm really looking forward to your picks now, mate.
Don't put me under any more pressure. Toronto 3, Chicago Fire 2. Little Sabre on fire again in this one. These, I've said it before and I'll say it again, these were my pick for MLS Cup at the start of the season, because last year when Giovinco and Altidore were on it, Toronto were a handful. They weren't on it enough. Altidore was hit and miss, but when they were on it, and I just felt if they could get them to fit and firing for most of the season, they would certainly cause problems, and they haven't, but when they've had them, they've done the business. Giovinco's been missing for a few games with an injury. He was back in this one, and they've got over the line again, and when you've got a player like Giovinco,
he's class, isn't he? Like, he wins a penalty far too easily in that game for me.
Did he dive?
I don't know whether he dived or whether he was
expecting contact. Did he make the most of it?
He definitely made the most of it.
Didn't he? There was hardly. He was clipped, but Was it enough for him to go down?
Probably not.
I think if he's running in on goal and he can shoot, I don't think he goes down there. But he steps up and slots the penalty away. Delightfully does.
Look, he's a cracking footballer. He's one of those players that you want to turn on Toronto and watch. He's a reason to watch Toronto for me, like, because he's just a great player. And he'd look good in any team in the world. Like,
I'm hoping Ronald Koeman gets him on loan or something in January, because we need a spark like that. But you could have him for 8 weeks and he'd be fantastic. I mean, the touch for the second goal when he dragged it off, this guy with the little track. I mean, that just comes down, he's done a drag back, crosses it, bang, 2-1, and then that's the injection.
Some voodoo shit, wasn't it?
It was voodoo. And then Osorio, the third goal. How many times does he want to do the little wrong slides past him, drags it, he goes past him, and then just to clip it.
It seemed like he was in bullet time, didn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Everything else is just going dead slow
like
around him, and he's just,
exactly.
And he's just going, right, I'm just going to do this, and then people, oh, there's 4 men in front of me, but I think I'll finish it in the top bin here. And he just waited, and all the worlds almost collided, and he just slotted this ball through to the top bin. You're like, yeah, thank you, well done, mate. Well done, that's a hell of a goal.
Good goal, fantastic. Chicago Fire, they've had a little bit of resurgence, but unfortunately for them, did still finish bottom. But they've come up into it. And the final game of the week,
Portland.
Well, they needed a win here to try and get into that playoff. To go in to try and be able to defend MLS.
Terrible performance. And
they just didn't turn up. Vancouver they've been a real letdown for me. Last year they were fabulous. Portland went up there last year actually in a MLS Cup game and beat them. This year there was no repeat of that at the weekend. Giles Barnes
looked good, didn't he?
With his first goal since moving from Houston, and both
first 2 goals, yeah.
Very, very good goals, I thought.
Yeah, I fully agree with that, mate. But for me, it was all about like the Cascadia Cup. I didn't know about it until I was watching the game, and I was like, all right, well, I'll do a little double screen, do a little bit of research of what's this Cascadia Cup like. Everyone knows now, it's my first season following MLS and stuff. Like, they wanted that. They wanted that Cascadia Cup, and I think Portland probably wanted to just scrape through somehow. They prioritised the MLS Cup, didn't they? And it's a byproduct. If they'd have won the Cascadia Cup, they'd be in there. And I just don't think that Portland just never turns up. And sometimes that happens in football. It's hard to take as a fan. If you're a Portland fan out there, after such a great season last season, to finish like that, that's when you want to see champions step up, isn't it? Because that's when, normally league winners grind out a result there, and you go on and then they'll get a little bit further. But to see your side sort of peter out and die like that, it must be really disappointing. And it's the first time, isn't it, that both finalists haven't made it into the playoffs, since the MLS started. Columbus didn't make it either, and Portland, they've got a bit of work to do. That dressing room will be broken now. Yeah, definitely. I mean, both. It's incredible, isn't it? The finalists last year both lost 4-1 on the last day this year, and have been nowhere near it. Maybe a byproduct of how much effort they put in last year. I'm not sure. Portland, fantastic at home, absolutely brilliant. Away from home, being disgusting away from home. So 11 losses, 6 draws. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, and this is the thing, we'd said this a few weeks ago, isn't it? If they want to get in there, they're going to have to win away. Start winning some. And comes down to it, last game of the season away from home, can you pull a victory? No, you can't. Well, there you go. That's your entire season up in smoke because of something that you should have been able to fix a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, Caleb Porter's come out and said there'll be changes, and you've got to look at the way they do stuff for next season. And I think if you're a fan of Portland today, that's exactly what you want to hear, don't you? 100%. You've had a fan. Listen, they won it last year against all odds, so they've had an incredible ride last year. Been a little bit disappointing this year. What can you come back with next year? Of course, that meant everything was tied up in regular season. We've got the Supporters' Shield wins. FC Dallas deservedly so. They finished top in the Western Conference with 60 points. Eastern Conference, Red Bulls 57. Yeah, you know what, when it mattered towards the back end of the season, the last few games and stuff, New York obviously lost that game and Red Bulls carried on, and fair play to New York. They've been good all season and they're riding the back of a great striker in Bradley Wright Phillips, aren't they? Exactly, but the pair of course could meet in the conference final. Tasty one. Just imagine. But like we said before, Bradley Wright Phillips, the golden goal for the regular season, 24 goals. Sasha Kleshin has finished with the top assister with 19, as mentioned before. So, he was unlucky. He had a few good headers, and essentially he was involved in the equaliser. Gashi
lashing home from close.
It was a late run, wasn't it, into the box, like Lampard-esque almost, the way that he got in there. But there's 3 players there. One of them slips. Is it Williams slips?
Might be Williams who slips.
Williams slips, and you're thinking, come on, 3 of you. You know the ball's getting played back across. So you've got to be expecting that. They've all got the body shape wrong for me. They don't seem to be expecting that. They're looking for a ball in and around the 6-yard box. I understand maybe one of them should be covering that option off, and that's maybe the way like defensive coaching in England and in the Premier League and other big leagues in Europe just goes a little bit more intricate than what I think maybe the MLS does, because I think you've each got a role to play there, and someone's job should be looking for the runner from the midfield.
Welcome to the MLS Show. Me and Chris in Chris's swanky new studio. Lovely this, mate.
Just threw it together, mate.
Just threw it 10 minutes. It took him 7 to do that and 20 to find 2 lights, but there you go. All good, all good. Christy, week 34.
Decision day.
Final hashtag decision day.
Love it.
Although it was better last year when there was more going on. It was most of the stuff. Most of the stuff was decided in terms of playoffs, who was getting in, who wasn't getting in. Obviously there was a couple of situations where teams could finish higher up. The higher up you finish, obviously home advantage and everything else. But we'll come on to the playoff bit in a minute. Let's go through the week scores.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
The week scores. Colorado won, Houston off that, that defensive strategy, if you like. Moving on, Sporting Kansas City 2, San Jose Earthquakes 0 rather. Sporting Kansas City started off well, had a bit of a wobble, sorted it out. Back in the heat there in Kansas. Ped will be delighted. He's somewhere else at the moment. He'll be delighted that they've got through this one. Dodgy, but no, it wasn't a dodgy penalty, but
soft penalty to concede, maybe. I think it's a penalty because I think it is handball at the end of the day. But yeah,
Zusi lashes it in anyway.
It's a soft one to concede, isn't it? Again, the ball's coming down. It's taking a little bit of a deflection after the cross and all that. Like, but
why did he? Why did he lean in? Because that's going across. That's going across the box.
It's like he wanted to block it off, but he leaned. So for me, again, I feel like I'm always bashing the defence in MLS, but it needs improving. And it's a dead exciting league to watch because of the goals that are scored and stuff, but ultimately if you want to take it somewhere you've got to be good at both ends of the field.
Definitely. I mean, I'm reading Tim Cahill's book at the moment, Legacy, and he talks about his time in New York Red Bulls, and that he said I watched the first few games and it was 6-3, and he said he went in and just, he'd been under David Moyes for a while, but he said I just started playing defensive midfield when Cahill is an attacking midfielder. He said just to try and get us some shape and to stop conceding goals. And that's a structure that the Red Bulls have took on from his time, and that's why they're where they are now. They're such a good side, and I think a few more teams need to. Dynamo won. Colorado have had a fantastic season, been brilliant all season, up there chasing Dallas, who've also been fantastic, but went behind in this one. I'd love to. I know Ped, if he was here, would blame Tim Howard for this goal, for the parry, for the Aldrich parry.
I blame the defender.
The defender.
What's he doing? Letting him turn in the box there
and just have a free shot. Yeah,
cross shot or whatever it was. I understand Howard's not done great on there and stuff, but you cannot be letting that man turn because he takes 2 steps back, don't he, to create the space for himself, and you're like, just get into him. It's terrible defending for me, mate. Really.
But what about Kevin Doyle playing in the number 10 role for Colorado? He's a target man to me, and he's dropping off from.
He's not a number 10, is he?